Today, I want to talk about my absolute least favorite missions from every single Assassin's Creed, all the way from Assassin's Creed 1 all the way up to Assassin's Creed Mirage. We have a lot of games to talk about, so I'm not going to waste any time and we're just going to get started with Assassin's Creed 1. In the first Assassin's Creed, the mission, I'm going to try and say it, but I feel like I'm going to say it wrong. The mission Sabrand of Acer, I don't know. I'll put it on screen because you're going to realize I'm pretty bad at pronouncing some of these names, especially Assassin's Creed 1. There's a lot of words in there I really struggle with. But Sabrand is notorious for its frustrating, very frustrating challenge because basically Assassin's Creed 1's controls are pretty bad. Even Assassin's Creed 2 feels like 10 times better. Since Altair can't swim, Ubisoft decided, let's make a level where you have to get on a boat and have to do parkour. So you've got these really stiff, unresponsive controls with Altair who will immediately die the second he touches water. And it's like a maze of like little poles and boats and platforms. This sucks. I'm sorry. When I first played the game, I hated this. And there's also guards and archers. And if you get spotted, you're pretty much just dead at that point because you're gonna fall in the water because you're gonna start panicking. This is really not a fun level. It's not far into the game. It's like I'd say like a couple hours deep that you'll encounter this mission, and it's such a punishing and just downright annoying mission. It's not fun at all. Thankfully, if you finish it, this is probably the only mission in the game I'd say that's really this annoying. Every other mission doesn't go near water, thankfully. The Port Authority mission in Assassin's Creed 2 for me is very infamous. I hated this one so much when I was younger. When I was younger, I was playing Assassin's Creed 2 for the first time. I tried Port Authority, and I will not lie to you, I think it took me like a week straight of trying when I was younger. Because basically, if you don't remember, or you never played the Port Authority mission, or Assassin's Creed 2, imagine yourself outside a ship. You know, you're like on a rooftop looking at this ship, and your target is on the ship. You have to get on the ship that's crawling with guards. It's incredibly tight spaced, and all the guards can kind of basically see each other. And if you get even spotted, even a fraction of a second you get spotted, the mission just insta-fails, and you have to restart. If you're good at the game, you can finish this in like a couple minutes. However, if you were like me, a little young boy playing this for the first time and who wasn't very good at the game, this genuinely took me maybe, I would say, like 50 tries in total. I got very, very angry. I was very upset with this. But yeah, you can tell that was my least favorite. Now, maybe on a replay, I maybe would pick other missions. Like, I don't think this mission's too bad nowadays. I've surprisingly gotten better at the game. I don't think this mission's that bad nowadays, but I think the nostalgia of me sitting down and spending like a full week straight trying to beat this mission just kind of has to make this my least favorite mission in Assassin's Creed 2. For Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, we have hell on wheels. It might seem straightforward and downright exciting. You get to drive a goddamn tank. What could be bad about driving a tank? Nothing really, to be honest. However, if you decide to go for 100% synchronization, now usually I don't go for 100% synchronization. I only go for 100% on games I really like, and Brotherhood is a game I absolutely love. So I wanted 100% synchronization, and I remember hitting this mission and oh, it's bad because it's not too bad. The mission itself, if you're playing normally, it's fine. It's fun actually. You know, you get to blow things up with a tank in Assassin's Creed. Hell yeah. The challenge comes with the 100% synchronization. The challenge for this one is you cannot take damage. You're in a goddamn tank, and they decided the 100% objective was do not take damage. I don't think I have to explain how annoying that is. You're in a goddamn tank, and I'm not allowed to get hit. Like, come on. Couldn't you have made like kill every enemy or something, or do it in like a time limit or something? I don't know. If you're playing it normally, this mission's fine. It's pretty fun. However, if you're playing for 100% synchronization, one of the most frustrating missions in the entire franchise. It is so difficult. Now granted, there is some really good guides on YouTube and online nowadays that can really kind of help you get through this, but it doesn't matter. This is still extremely difficult. I would not wish anyone to try this. Just don't go for 100% synchronization on Brotherhood. It is not worth it. For Assassin's Creed Revelations, I'm going with Desmond's Journey. These are missions you may not have played, to be honest. These are 5 optional missions where you play Desmond Miles in a virtual world created by the Animus. You kind of do basically just puzzles. It's kind of meant to like reveal more about, you know, kind of add some more context and lore to Desmond, the world, the assassins, and blah 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 blah. It's kind of boring though. It's a bunch of puzzles and listening to like Desmond just kind of talking for a while. The environments are all just animus looking. They're all kind of these just like blobs of squares and stuff. There's nothing exciting to really look at. And honestly, if you beat all of them, and these puzzles are not very fun, there's nothing here that's really too, like, they're not difficult, it's just kind of tedious. And there's 5 missions, and honestly, there's no reward. All it is just some extra lore, so in all honesty, it's kind of better, I'd say, to just go, I don't know, watch like the cutscenes or the monologues on YouTube and just don't play it. It's just not fun. Because, to be fair, Revelations is genuinely this kind of... I was going to pick tower defense missions, but I feel like those were okay. I feel like I had more fun playing those than Desmond's Journey. Otherwise, Revelations actually has a lot of really good missions. For Assassin's Creed 3, I'm choosing The Midnight Ride. This is a historical recreation of Paul Revere's famous ride to kind of warn the colonists of the British invasion. Which, on paper, that sounds like a really fun mission, you know? I mean, you're, going through, running through soldiers, getting fired at, going to warn the colonists and save everyone. Instead, though, I don't know what Ubisoft are thinking, but they chose it for you to be kind of on this horse, he's on the back, and he's giving you directions. He just kind of shouts directions at you and having to avoid like patrols and stuff. It's not the hardest mission in the world. It's more of, it's just not fun. It's not really fun sitting on a horse, just listening to this guy just bark directions at you. Oh, go left, go right, go left, go right. It's just not very fun. There's no objective markers. You can't just run straight to where you're going. I just didn't like this mission. I don't really have anything else to say. I just found this mission really boring, and whenever I replay Assassin's Creed 3, which is a game I actually really enjoy, I won't lie, I always just kind of sit there and like, I just kind of sit there and was like, man, this really sucks. But yeah, it's not too long at least, but it's probably my least favorite, because I always am just like, man, I can't wait for this to be over once it starts. In Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I would choose the Siege of Charlestown. This mission is a prime example of Assassin's Creed 4's biggest problem. That is the over-reliance on tailing missions. You spend a lot of Assassin's Creed 4 tailing people, following them from rooftops, following behind them. It's a lot. The game's really good, but it does use these missions way too much. But this time, you do it in a boat. You're following the targets with your whole boat. This massive, ginormous boat is just sailing around a swamp, following it to the targets. How did nobody spot the boat? But regardless of that, why is there a tailing mission in a boat? Who asked for that? It feels like they were making this game and they're like, we need one tailing mission per sequence. Sometimes there's multiple, but like, I don't know why they just decided to do a tailing mission in a boat. Like, granted, it's a little bit different, but then you finish the tailing part, you get off the boat and tail them on foot. It's just like a big, like 10-20 minute long tailing mission, and it's really just, it's the one tailing mission that really gets me. It's like, in the game I get annoyed at them, but like, I can be like, okay, I don't really care, the game's good, I'm willing to overlook it. But this is the one where whenever I replay it, I'm always sitting there just angry. I don't want to play this mission. It's just the one where I feel like it just shows how much the game relied on tailing missions to kind of just pad out its length and just do its mission objectives. But on the whole, Black Flag is still probably one of the best in the series. It's just, yeah, this mission I really disliked. For Assassin's Creed Rogue, this one's actually an interesting one. I'm picking Caress of Steel. This is the mission with Rose and the poison. But this is definitely maybe the best mission on this list. I had to pick a worse mission for each game. I actually look back at it and I'm like, I don't think Rogue actually had very many bad missions. I think most of Rogue's missions are actually really good. I had to look through the mission list and I was, looking for all the missions and I was just like, I don't actually hate any of these. And I was like, Caress of Steel's the only one I was kind of annoyed at. But yeah, I never really realized how much Rogue actually just had a lot of good missions. Maybe you don't know, this is the one where you go chase down Rose, and then it goes through a chase sequence. And the reason I don't like this one is you get poisoned, and there's like these poison clouds everywhere, and you have to like chase someone while there's like poison everywhere. And I just found it kind of annoying, because you go in it, and it drains your health, and you can't see very far. I just found it very irritating. It's just it got old very quick. It's just kind of one of those mechanics that lots of games have done, it's poison, and they overuse it a lot. Like, I'm a point, this mission's like 15-20 minutes long, but like that chase sequence feels like it goes on for hours. Not a bad mission, it's just I had to choose one mission I disliked from Rogue, which I found out I didn't dislike very many. Who would have known? In Assassin's Creed Unity, I would choose Hoarders. Hoarders stands out as one of the most frustrating missions in that game. The catch of Hoarders is you can't raise any alarms. Imagine, tiptoeing for these tight spaces, analyzing where the guards are going, but all that time in the back of your head, if you just get spotted for just 1 second, you're replaying that whole mission. So Unity's not too bad. There's no missions in particular that I think are too bad. There is one co-op mission where you have to do like parkour, but I didn't really play the co-op missions. I played some of them, but I never played that one, so I didn't include it because I've never played it. But I just picked this one because I mainly just believe I hate these kind of missions in Assassin's Creed where it's like, if you get spotted, you have to replay the whole mission, kind of like Port Authority from Assassin's Creed 2. I just don't like these missions. I like Assassin's Creed when I'm allowed to get true freedom, almost a sandbox, to kind of decide how I want to approach the mission, how I want to attack the mission. It's why I actually really love Unity's black box missions so much. I think they're just so cool. There's so many different ways you can attack a objective. And other games in the series do try it, but they don't do very well with it. We'll come to that game near the end. I don't much more to say. I just didn't really like Hoarders because it's one of those, if you get spotted, insta-fail. You might be able to tell, I just don't like those missions in the franchise. In Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I would probably choose the Lady with the Lamp. This one is one of the least exciting missions in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Picture this, you're got to deliver like medicine or whatever, and you have to go in a carriage and race around the streets of Victorian London with a timer urging you to kind of race around. You got to fight enemies, and yeah, it's basically you got to race around town and do objectives in a time limit. And I just didn't like this mission. There's a lot of things I don't like about Syndicate. This mission in particular is just one of those missions where I just really disliked it because it's so simple, you know what I mean? Oh, look, you have to run around town in a carriage and do little objectives. It's just a uninspired, generic, monotonous loop around the map. And it's like, when I replay that mission, I'm just kind of left there, just kind of like, man, I can't wait to get to more of the exciting stuff. But yeah, to be fair, on the whole, I don't think Syndicate has many missions that are particularly good or particularly bad. I feel like most of Syndicate's missions kind of fall in this kind of nice middle ground, where they're not bad, but they're not great. They're just kind of alright, but this is one where I just found it very boring and uninspired and just kind of basic, to be honest. I think that's kind of the problem, is it's literally just a race mission with a timer. Oh, wow. For Assassin's Creed Origins, I'm going to technically cheat here. I'm not going to pick just one mission. This is going to be very unpopular, by the way, I think, because I don't think many people agree with me on this. But I'm going to cheat and technically pick multiple missions. And those are the Aya naval missions. I just found the naval content in Origins to be boring. I really didn't like it. It just kind of ripped me out of the game, and the story for these boring naval parts just kind of feels shoehorned in. I feel it was really repetitive, and I think the naval content is just not as good as Black Flag. And understand it's ancient Egypt versus, pirate era. There's a massive time difference there in terms of technology and whatnot. That doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care about the time period here. I just didn't like the gameplay. It's just kind of boring. Every time I replay Origins, granted I've only played through Origins like 3 times, but I just really hate these missions. Now, I think Aya's final mission, like the one where you get a play as her running around, is Alexandria? I can't remember. The one where you have to go to the lighthouse. That's good. I like that mission. I love Aya as a character, but these naval missions, I just don't like it. You're going from this rich, incredibly beautiful landscape and really detailed world of ancient Egypt to just navigating the waves in your boat and doing these really repetitive combat cycles over and over and over. They yank you away from Bayek's incredible journey and fun missions and fun combat to be, forget all the Egypt and fun pyramids and fun missions you played. Let's just do the boat combat because people liked it in Black Flag and wanted it back. Yeah, I just really dislike the naval content in Origins. I am technically cheating because I'm technically picking multiple missions because they're all, there's multiple naval parts of the game, but I just felt like not one of them was particularly bad. They were all kind of bad. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people love Origins, and I know a lot of people will disagree and think I'm like completely insane for thinking this. But for me, I just really did not enjoy these naval parts. I just found them really just boring, to be honest. I just felt like they were trying to do Black Flag, but didn't quite understand why Black Flag's naval combat was so good. But that's just my opinion. For Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'm going to pick the Medusa fight. And it's mainly down to just a couple reasons, and I think it mainly comes down to it just isn't very fun. It's just not very fun. I think the boss fight on paper is a good idea. I think fighting Medusa, it can turn you to stone and stuff, is very cool. I actually think Medusa's design is pretty cool as well. And my thing was like, why am I not fighting Medusa? Like at like when you start it and during the fight, she like has like these like little soldiers that come fight you. Like I'm fighting those soldiers more than I'm fighting Medusa, and I'm like, that I just really dislike because I'm like, man, I want to fight Medusa here. I don't want to just fight these random soldier guys I've been fighting the whole game. So that was kind of annoying. The other thing was you couldn't really use melee during this fight because you'd have these enemies chasing after you, you'd have Medusa attacking you. You basically were just kind of forced to sit down and use the bow. It's not the biggest problem because I like using the bow, I really do, but yeah, it just kind of felt weird. And it's also really high level of difficulty. I think you have to be like, what's it, like level like 45 to even have a chance against Medusa. It's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, it's a very late game boss battle, and it's pretty much required to if you want to completely finish the main story. There's a lot of missions I could pick in Odyssey, but let's be honest, because Odyssey has hundreds of missions, and a lot of them can be as simple as like clearing a camp or whatever. But that wouldn't be very fun if I picked a mission where it's like, oh, walk in, kill 2 guys, walk out, it's done. That's not very fun. I want to pick a mission that's actually a big main mission in the game, which to be fair, the Medusa fight is. But I didn't really enjoy this one very much. I kind of thought it could just be better. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there are numerous missions that could compete for the title of the worst mission in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But again, I'm going to technically cheat here. I would personally pick Hamptonshire as the worst mission slash area slash part of Valhalla. I'm combining this entire region into just one mission because I really do think it is the worst part of the game. Going to talk about it, but before I do begin, I will say this does contain major spoilers for the ending of Valhalla. So, because again, Hamptonshire is set after you beat the game, you can do Hamptonshire. So I just want to let you know, feel free to skip over to Mirage. I'm not going to spoil anything in Mirage, so feel free to skip over to that if you've not finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla yet. Gone now, that's great, because I'm going to start. Hamptonshire really falls short of expectations, and those are expectations that were pretty low after beating the base game, because I like this game, but I think the narrative was okay, especially some of the arcs can be kind of meh. But Hamptonshire's biggest problem is it undermines the entire character development established in Norway. So again, end of the game spoilers here. After you defeat Odin, Eivor lays down their axe to kind of escape, and to me, I thought that kind of suggested that they've kind of transcended the pursuit of glory and victory and beating everything and kind of the war part, I mean, because you spend most of the game murdering and slaughtering people. I kind of thought that was kind of that Eivor is kind of over that. But the very first act of Hamptonshire is the destruction of a township. What? And the motivation for conquering England following the Norway finale is just kind of unclear. It kind of feels like Eivor almost failed to learn from their journey, because the whole of Valhalla is your Viking clan wants to kind of, settle in England and kind of want to live. You just kind of want your settlement to live. You don't want to get attacked or kicked out of the place. You want your settlement to stay. Like, at this point, you've pretty much conquered the whole country. And, you're just going to Hamptonshire, burning things down and attacking people. And I just kind of feel like it undermines the narrative of Eivor kind of going on this journey and whatnot and trying to save your clan, becoming the leader of the clan. And I just kind of felt like Hamptonshire just kind of felt like shoehorned in at the end, and it kind of just kind of ruined the game for me almost, because the whole narrative just feels like it got undermined. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I interpreted the ending of Valhalla differently than what Ubisoft meant. Maybe I'm the only one who saw that wrong. Regardless, Hamptonshire's arc has some really boring gameplay anyway, and it's got the whole King storyline. I'm not even going to dive into that, but that's bad. So regardless of that, it's bad. But for me, again, maybe I've interpreted the ending wrong, maybe that's not what Ubisoft meant, but for me, I just kind of found Hamptonshire just ruined the whole kind of character development and story development, and it, easily was the worst part of Valhalla for me. Now, finally, for Assassin's Creed Mirage, we're going back to unpopular territory. For Mirage, I honestly can't pick a single mission for this game, for this list. And I don't mean that in a good way. For Mirage, I find almost every single mission in the game to just kind of feel like busy work. There's not really any part or mission in the entire game that got me excited, or that I was like, man, I got really hyped and I really enjoyed that. I just personally felt like I was playing for Mirage and just kind of doing the same things over and over. I just feel like I was playing through the game almost to just say, oh, I've beat Mirage, and that was it. Like, there's no mission in this game that I feel like comes even close to even the mediocre missions of the older games. It just feels very busy work. And I understand this game was one, it wasn't a full price game. Two, was made by a smaller team that have never made a AAA Assassin's Creed game by themselves. So I understand the development parts of this game. It's a return to the classic formula, which is great. But I just can't lie to you. There's no standout mission that was really bad or really good. But if I did have to choose one of them, it would probably be the mission First Order, as it kind of sums up my problems I did have with the Unity style black box missions. And this is because it has an objective, which a lot of missions in this game have, where it's a black box mission where you can approach it any way you want, but you can't. The target in First Order is hiding. They're in hiding. You have to lure them out so you can attack them. And the problem is the reason why Unity's black box missions work so well, like I talked about earlier, you can do it any way you want. You can go in, sneak away, don't touch any of the objectives the game tells you about, and just take the target out normally. You can rush in, do combat, or these scripted little objectives to kind of kill the target, which are really, really fun. However, in Mirage, you're pretty much forced to do these scripted things. For this mission, I have to do these scripted things to bring out the target. And this mission was basically the one I could just pick on because it's early enough in the game that it doesn't spoil anything. And it kind of exemplifies the problem I have, which is just these black box missions kind of feel like they saw people like it in Unity's and they're just bringing it back because people liked it in Unity and they didn't really care for it. That's what it feels like to me, at least. Honestly, you might be able to tell I wasn't the biggest fan of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I haven't really talked too much about it on the channel, but I just didn't really enjoy this game very much. I think it's not a bad game. I just want to clear up. I don't think Mirage is bad. I just think it's very middle of the road, you know what I mean? I think it's an alright game, but when I compare it to, like, you know, the likes of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 3, 4, I just don't think it comes anywhere close to those games. And that's it. We have now finished every mainline Assassin's Creed game and the worst mission in every single one of them. Some unpopular ones in there. I think Origins and Mirage in particular will be kind of unpopular for my choices and the words I say about those games. But on the whole, I think I picked some missions that me personally I think were my least favorites. First, thank you for watching the whole thing if you did, unless you skipped through it, which that's bad, but thank you for watching anyway. But number two, I'd also like to see your lists if you have some, you know, if you have a couple missions you really disliked, or if you have a mission from every single game that you really disliked, feel free to share in the comments below. I'd be kind of interested to kind of see what missions people disliked as much as I did. Maybe we have a couple missions we agree on, maybe we have missions we disagree on. I'd be interested to hear, so just drop your own list in the comments, or just drop a couple missions you personally disliked, or don't do that. It's kind of up to you. I'm not telling you to do whatever, just do what you want. Anyway, that's all I've got for today, so thank you for watching. I've been TheIntel, and have a lovely